I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
There we go, kiddos. Welcome in. It's another edition of the Daily Puck Drop. It is Thursday, March 5th. Welcome in. How is everyone doing today on a wonderful Thursday? We're going to get right to it here in a few moments. The one and only, I just like playing the air horn and I'm obnoxious about it. Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network is going to stop on by. It's busy in the NFL. There is no offseason. Mike's going to jump on, talk about free agency, talk about Rashid Shaheed, Ken Walker. We'll get the very latest. I miss everything. If you have something you want Mike to answer, send it in the chat there on YouTube. If you are watching the show live, by the way, and it does not matter how you take in the Daily Puck Drop, whether you watch or listen to it live on the Puck Sports mobile app or watch on YouTube and X. Later, of course, you can watch everything back on YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button. And, of course, all podcast platforms, Apple and Spotify. So you want me to ask Mike a question, throw something in the chat. We'll hopefully get it answered there for you. Then it's another edition coming up later of KJ-Arent with the one and only Mitchell Levy. We've got to find out what the hell happened at Dad's Weekend at the University of Arizona. Hey, you saw a pretty good basketball game, by the way. And it's the state playoffs in high school basketball, boys and girls. Todd Milles, Varsity One News, will join us coming up a little bit later in the program to get you updated on everything that's happening down there in the Tacoma Dome. Of course, we are broadcasting from the Limback Lumber Studios. Contractors, they offer free deliveries. Everything from whole house packages to homeowner DIY projects, the largest stock moldings in the Northwest. Old school service. Why? Because they've been doing it, folks, since 1930. Give them a call, 206-782-3487. Visit them at limbacklumber.com. You can visit me on all social media platforms, Puck Sports everywhere except for TikTok, which is Puck_sports. You can sign up and join the Puck's Posse. You can click on the QR code on your screen or just go visit pucksports.com. Become a full member, get full access to all the shows. Becoming a full member directly supports Puck Sports. Also, it's just $5 a month. Any issues with that, by the way, send me an email, puck@pucksports.com. We will take care of you. You got two shows already this week, although we did give everyone free access to Divish on Wednesday's show. But Tuesday, Sports Pit with Matt Stretch Johnson. Wednesdays, Ryan Divish, Inside Pitch. And then today, KJ-Arent with one Mitch Levy. We'll get to Ken Walker, and we'll get to all the news and notes there on the Seahawks with our guy Mike Garafolo here in just a minute. We'll try to sneak in some other things a little bit later in the show about the Mariners, quick touch on the Mariners, and something I heard last night about college basketball that we'll get to. And we will honor a great in Hey, What the Puck. The latest with Rashid Shaheed, and I'll be curious what Garafolo says when he joins us here in a bit, is the two sides reportedly did not get close there to an extension, and that he will go out and test free agency and when it starts there on Monday. And the curious thing about Rashid Shaheed will be what will be the asking price, or what will be Shaheed's market. I think we all would agree it can't get too obnoxious for Shaheed. I think it's okay to say that he was disappointing from a wide receiver position group. Now, disappointing in terms of he didn't deliver like I thought a lot of people, including myself, thought that Shaheed was going to deliver. He just didn't have that impact maybe in the passing game. Now, maybe someone would say, hey, you don't understand. Him even being a decoy on some of these routes allowed JSN or Cooper Kupp to get more stuff on, underneath over the middle. Perhaps just his impact, like deep passing game, other than the Niners game, right? That was his big moment as a wide receiver. Now, what he did in the special teams, unbelievable. I mean, an absolute game changer when it comes to special teams. He just absolutely killed it. He was phenomenal just in terms of what he did in the return game and how he delivered and how he was. I mean, he changed He changed the Rams game. I mean, it was unbelievable. And he was like that all year long. So what will the asking price for him be? And the thing with Schneider is he gave up a 4th and a 5th round pick to acquire him. So if you lose him in free agency, that's kind of a knock. You would like to have those 4th and 5th round picks for this NFL draft. All right, let's get to him. Ladies and gentlemen, he joins us throughout the football season. And again, I'm obnoxious with this air horn. I just love playing it. Mike Garafolo, he joins us throughout the season, brought to you by Hartley and Hartley Insurance and also Zogs on Fox Island. And the beautiful man from New Jersey, the pride of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, a once star producer at WIP, now one of the number one news breakers at the NFL network. And I would say maybe, just maybe, a Mediterranean model. It's Mike Garafolo. Hello, Mike.
Hey, what?
Mediterranean model.
What's what?
Mediterranean model? Model.
Okay.
I think so. It works. I see it with you.
Oh my God.
What do we got? We have a big trade already.
No.
A signing. You're already on your phone. We're 30 seconds into this. You're like my kid. Can you put the phone down? My 12-year-old.
No. Just get to it. Go. Come on, before something else happens.
Ken Walker. Give me the latest on Ken Walker. What's the market right now for Ken Walker? And in terms of Seattle, what are the odds he comes back?
I'm not shaking my head at you. I'm shaking my head. This business gets dumber by the day.
Sure.
What are the odds Kenneth Walker goes back to Seattle?
Yeah.
0. Why would you think? I mean, after the tag deadline, I thought that would like via con Dios, buddy, right? No?
Well, I mean, I think there's been plenty. I mean,
they've talked.
Hasn't there been other examples of that before happening? You don't tag them and still come back in free agency?
They've talked since then. I don't want to be like no. I thought on your end you'd be like, well, that's it. That's the ship has sailed. So.
But do you think, like, are they that far apart in terms of, do you think it deals that the odds of him being in a Seahawks uniform slim to none?
I would say slim to none. Yeah. Let me ask a question here right now. If somebody, let me see that somebody that would know. Hold on a second.
Yeah. How much I can phrase the question for you. How much do you think Walker is going to get? And do you think he's worth it? And what will Seattle do for a running back if he leaves? Because they have no running backs.
What do they do? They have multiple options at running back. Like
is Charbonnet going to be ready? I mean, I don't know if he's going to be. He's not going to be ready by the start of the season. He just had surgery.
Dude, they'll draft somebody and be totally fine with it, right? Like that's how John rolls. There are. Okay, so my person says slim chance. So not none. We're gonna go with slim.
Okay, I'm gonna quote you on that. Slim chance.
I mean, technically the person said mild chance, but that's a weird phrasing, so I'm gonna change it to slim. So I said slim to none, and this person is saying slim.
I'm gonna say slim to none. Well, I think that
slim to none to mild. Try to put that
slim to none. Yeah, I'm going to say that slim to none to mild. You just cover all bases. He will be an attractive guy, right? He's an attractive guy in the market because of Breece Hall being tagged, and then the David Montgomery trade.
I thought Seattle was going to be. Somebody told me way back, keep an eye on Seattle for Montgomery. So I thought that didn't happen. See, and Houston came, and actually Houston was his preferred destination. So. Which is not to say that you wouldn't want to go to Seattle, but that they Detroit made that happen and helped make that happen for him. It worked for all sides, but that was a big part of it.
I was just going to ask you about Montgomery. I mean, how far down the road did they get with him?
I don't know how far down the road, but they were on the road at one point. But it was. I don't know. I mean, I didn't really get the full breakdown. We moved on to other things because that's done. Check. We got 700 more things we got to. So at some point we'll get the full context and everything that happened here, but it's and there are guys on the market and there are free agents that I've heard that have had conversations amongst their own group of people amongst their agencies and like, hey, Seattle could be a spot for us. We feel like if they don't get Walker back, he fits the system. Yeah, a lot of people think they're going to Seattle. I'll put it to you that way. So they're going to wind up being active in the free agent market if they don't wind up with Kenneth Walker.
Okay, so what are you hearing about Walker's likely destination or teams that?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard Kansas City mentioned. I've heard the Giants mentioned. We're going to know within the next couple. I mean, it starts to firm up. What's today? Thursday. It really starts to firm up into the weekend. I mean, they're not supposed to, but that's when teams start to show their cards. And it was leaving the combine. It was about as uncertain as I've ever heard it with regard to agents that had a feel for, hey, my guy's going to be in play here or there. I mean, it was very rare that you had somebody who felt a good feeling of, and that person may wind up being wrong, right? And even like some of the guys we've tied to former coaches and whatnot, and it's like, yeah, no, they really haven't indicated that they're going to be like. So I think teams are holding back as long as possible before they have to actually put the cards on the table.
So Walker goes someplace else. Travis Etienne now is probably the number 2 guy on that list.
Yeah. He's in play in the places that I mean, Kansas City. Walker and Etienne are the 2 guys that we've heard mentioned with connection to Kansas City, who's done a good job of clearing out salary cap space and cash the last couple of days with the McDuffie trade and releasing Juwan Taylor. There was another trade they almost made that fell apart, and there could be some more salary slashing in Kansas City as they try to make some room to do some stuff elsewhere. They'll be active on the defensive line too as well.
Etienne, a rumor here, it connected to Seattle in any way.
I've heard him mentioned, but if you're going to spend that, because he's going to get paid. Yeah. So if you're going to spend that money, why wouldn't you just get Walker back, right?
So then who's that? Is there anyone that's out there on that list? I mean, I'm just looking at it right now. There's Najee Harris. There's J.K. Dobbins. I think Algiers' name has been mentioned as possible. Anybody, does that free agent list, when you get past those 2, excite Seattle?
I think running back is deep. Hold on a second.
Rico Dowdle's another one. Guess he's been out there for a bit.
Hold on a second. Yeah, I mean, let me actually bring up my list here. Hold on, I should have had it up anyway. My bad. So your top earners at running back are going to wind up being obviously Brees. So Kenneth Walker, Hold on. I'm on the air right now, so I need you to text me or just say it right now. Yeah, don't text and drive.
This is my favorite part.
Okay. You didn't hear anybody in particular, right? Right. Okay. All right. This is making for good radio, so I got to go.
It's wonderful. It's multimedia. It's not radio anymore. It's multimedia. It's different. This plays in multimedia dimensions.
Bye. Yeah, they were having a meeting this morning, apparently at 10 a.m. So it's just past that your time. So they're really going to start to hammer out things there. Yeah, I mean, your top earners are Brees Hall, Kenneth Walker, ETN. Javante's already done. I think Rashad White's a fantastic player. Like that to me is, I still don't understand. Like when I watched Tampa Bay games last year, I'm like, he's their best running back. I mean, I know Bucky's really good, but I thought Rashad was their most complete, and he's going to get a team out there that's gonna want him and going to bring him in and going to use him the way he should.
Okay,
just put me down for that. That's just my own scout's eye on.
Can I put that after slim to none that Walker comes back? Okay, rapid fire. Shaheed, what do we think?
Gone.
God, this is miserable. Raiders, I would assume.
Christ, potentially. That's why I told you. I told you next week's gonna be even worse than this.
I know, but I get a kick. All right, so Shaheed gone, going to cost too much. I think a lot of people thought that. That's a lot to give up though when you acquired him. And you gave up a 4th and a 5th round pick, and then he walks in free agency.
Yeah, but you may get more back in a comp pick.
Okay. All right.
I mean, if he signs for $20 million plus, right? What's that?
Yeah,
I don't know what the numbers Drew's throwing out there, but
okay. I got my heart set on Maxx Crosby. Is there any connection to Maxx Crosby in Seattle? But do you expect Crosby to be dealt? Like, I mean, that's kind of like the feeling right now that he will be.
Do I expect Crosby? Yes, I do. I expect Maxx Crosby to be dealt. Yes, I do.
Could he land in
and
Seattle?
I have for a while.
Seattle? Would Seattle be big players in Maxx Crosby?
Sure, they're in the mix. Everybody's in the mix. Everybody's in the mix.
Philly's in the mix. Everyone's in the mix.
Chicago's in the mix.
You're like a politician. Everyone's in the mix.
No, I can't be wrong on that one. Everybody.
I know. That's the beauty. Oh, everyone's in the mix. And so then when you just list off all the teams later, say, I nailed it. He went there.
Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to be like, but yes, I would expect Max to be dealt. So,
okay. And what's the compensation for that? Is it similar to Parsons or not?
Yes. Similar to Parsons. Yes.
So 2 first rounds and a player, but an impact player.
It's so we're now, and you're close enough to the draft now. What happened?
Nothing. I was just going to say, because I thought you were going to say, hey, no 2 first round picks are created equal. And I agree.
No, but we're, I mean, listen, if the Eagles are in communication with teams, not if they are for AJ Brown, right? And one of those teams is the Patriots. That's the 31st pick. And it's practically a second round pick, right? So I was going to say we're close enough to the draft where if it's going to be 2 2s, it's this year and next year, fine. But if it's going to be 2 1s, it's this year and the next, and you don't know what the next is going to be. But I would almost, and we've seen this, you trade for next year's 1 because you got the shot that's potentially going to be much higher. And you almost like, hey, what team that could be? That could be anywhere from the middle of the first round all the way up. The uncertainty, and listen, if you're trading for the Jets first round pick versus if you're trading for the Patriots, I mean, come on, it's not even. So yeah, it's I just put it in the ballpark, almost like, oh yeah, similar to the Parsons trade, which when you make it the time, and teams do this differently, sometimes you just peg it in the middle of the first round and you go, okay, that's the point value for middle of the first round, and you say one way or another, fine, whatever. If you're trading with the Chiefs in the middle of their dynasty, it's going to be the back. You almost sort of weight it that way. That's sort of how teams do it when they make these trades. So if it's 2 1s, you're taking this year's, and then you're just trying to figure out where next year's is, obviously.
DJ Moore traded to the Bills. That happened this morning. 2nd round pick. Surprised by that compensation, or?
No, it was about right. Yeah, it was about right. Yeah.
So AJ Brown, what does this mean for him now?
It's one of those that I think, like, to me, it's always made the most sense. And the Eagles did this before with Wentz. They took the 3rd round the first year from the Colts, and then the second year was the 2 that became a 1 because of the playing time. Especially again, if it's going to be the Patriots, you go, well, we don't want that 1. We don't want you to be like, oh, we traded your first round pick, but it's the 31st pick. You'd rather roll the dice and figure it's going to be higher than 31, with the chance that if there's some kind of catastrophe, it could go to the top of the first round, right? That's almost the way I felt like this trade was going to have to happen. But Howie's looking for a 1+, and 1+ high, not like 1 and a 4. It's 1 and a day 2 pick. So he's holding to that as of this morning, he's holding to that. I've said this before. I don't think the 2 can coexist. I don't think the receiver and the running back, or the receiver and the quarterback, can coexist anymore. That does not mean that I think he's for sure trading him. I know he's holding to his value. If you're asking me which way I'm leaning right now, I'm probably leaning toward yes. But they just lost the suitor today with that Bills trade because the Bills were in it for AJ.
What gets done first, an extension for JSN or Witherspoon?
JSN.
You think both happen before the start of the year? Before the start of the season?
Before the start of the season?
Yeah.
I'll say yes, but there's where I heard, what I did hear in Indy was that they want to move on JSN relatively quickly.
Perfect. Told you I'd get out of here by 1:20. With 10:20 my time. See?
All good.
Promise. Man. I keep my word. Word. All right. Get some sleep. Catch up on everything.
No sleep. I'm getting my sleep this week.
Let me know, please.
Yeah, if I can. Yeah, maybe we'll do like a quick pop in, pop out over the next week or so. But it'd be just a couple minutes. So
you're the best. Thanks, Mike.
You got it, pal.
See ya. Mike Garafolo, NFL Network, rapid fire with Mikey G on the very latest with what's going on. Very, very newsy. Very, very newsy. What did he just say? Wanted to get something done with JSN very quickly. And then the latest with everybody else. I mean, Ken Walker just quoting what Mike said. If you're just popping in now to the live show, I always always have to play this, because I know a lot of people watch and listen later, so they already heard it. And then I treat this back like old radio days when we do the live show, if you're just joining us. But Ken Walker, slim to none that he comes back. Maybe that was fairly obvious to everyone once they didn't franchise tag him, but still an opportunity or still a chance that he could come back. That he, once he went to free agency. But Mike is pretty connected to this organization, so when he says that, I'd put a lot of stock into what he says when it comes in regards to the Seahawks. So Ken Walker gone. He said 0 chance Rashid Shaheed comes back, which, again, yeah, you get compensation for it. Fair. But again, his market, is going to be high. So, again, I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see where they go from there. But very newsy. Few minutes there about there with Mike Garafolo. Sorry, I'm just texting here real quick, trying to say something, responding back to someone. My apologies. But again, I don't know if it's a surprise that you would lose both of those guys. I think a lot of people probably expected it. Does it hurt their chances for next season? Well, yeah, obviously. It depending on what they're going to do here in the offseason. But I think for both of these guys, you have to take a wait and see approach to what they're going to do. And John Schneider and these guys are not going to be finished. They're obviously going to have something that is planned and something that is obviously working in their favor, what they want to do here with the future of how they want to spend their money. They're going to have a lot of cap space. They're going to have a lot of cap space that they're going to be able to spend on. They've got a lot of opportunities when they look ahead to the draft. And here's the one thing about John Schneider. He is never complacent to where the team is currently at. So he's always trying to, improve, think outside the box, be a guy that is kind of 1 or 2 steps ahead everyone else. And he has been golden here in the last few years, especially in the draft. And, I just think in terms of the trades that he's made, he's been on a little bit of a heater here of late. So I think the initial blowback from some fans, not all fans, will be like, oh my God, what a disaster offseason. Again, I love Ken Walker. I do. I think Ken Walker's a really good running back. Really, really good. I think he's better than I think a lot of people give him credit for. I understand that you get to this market with certain guys that you reach a threshold with them and you can't go over it. I totally understand. Everyone, especially in a league and in a sport in which you have a cap, you have, there's no doubt I think that they would want him back. But it just comes at a cost. And so, I just think that you have to make some tough decisions, when you are an organization of what you want to do and who you want to bring back and what money do you want to allocate to certain players. You've got 2 players. What did he say about JSN? Something that they want to move on very, very quickly. But again, that's a guy that is, you're talking $40 million, wants to be the highest paid wide receiver in the league. You've got another guy in Devin Witherspoon. This is a lot of money that you have to think about those guys. So you gotta weigh that. We like Ken Walker, but we really, really love Devin Witherspoon, and we really, really love Jason. And I don't think anyone would argue who's the better player on the team. Is it Ken Walker, or is it JSN? Obviously it's JSN. That it's clear. So, they want to move on quickly with him. They obviously want to do something with Witherspoon as soon as they probably can. And I think that if they can get that locked up before the new season starts, I think that then you take away the little bit of the sting of losing two guys that obviously were huge, impactful players for you in your Super Bowl run. Again, we just started talking about Shaheed. Look at what Shaheed didn't do as a wide receiver. We just talked about his impact is not as a wide receiver, right? You thought you'd probably get a little bit more there from a wide receiver standpoint. You didn't, but from a special team standpoint, it was great. He was unbelievable. But that comes at whatever the cost is going to be, and it was going to be pricey. You're talking $20 million. Listen, you're not going to spend that amount of money on him, especially when you've drafted Horton. When we had Danny Kelly on this week, he 32nd overall pick, he had them, in his mock draft taking Denzel Boston. So that's another guy that they could use as a wide receiver. But again, all stuff that's moving around, fluid. It's great. A lot of news in there. Again, on Walker, slim to none that he's going to come back. He said that they were in on David Montgomery. They did have conversations with the Lions about Montgomery. In fact, Mike saying that he felt that Seattle was going to be really in on Montgomery, but then the Texans came in and jumped it on him. For Ken Walker, the team that he's heard the most, probably like many, he's been Kansas City. Also, look out for the New York Giants. Told you what he said about Shaheed. And just that he feels that he's gone. That's his that's his guess, his educated guess. But he feels that Rashid Shaheed is gone. Kind of feels like that's true as well, especially with what Shaheed or the reports that came out yesterday. And then they're trying to move very quickly on a deal with JSN. Now, in terms of the situation with Maxx Crosby, listen, he expects that Maxx Crosby is going to be dealt. Seattle, like many teams, is going to be in and probably sniff around on Maxx Crosby. But wonder if that is the one move perhaps that John Schneider is waiting on to make a big splash. I don't know. I guess that would depend on probably what does he know about DeMarcus Lawrence? Has DeMarcus Lawrence made any type of a decision, right? We've had the report of Brady Henderson, I think, a few weeks ago, making that decision in terms of what DeMarcus Lawrence wanted to do. All right. In case you missed any of that, with Mike Garafolo, be up a little bit later. NFL Network with the very latest on where the Seahawks are at. Good stuff there on Ken Walker, Rashid Shaheed. Expecting both those guys to be gone. JSN, Devin Witherspoon. The information there on David Montgomery, and then also what he said there about Maxx Crosby being dealt. But here we go. This is really one of the highlights of the week, folks. It's another edition of KJ-Arent with the one and only Mitch Levy, host of the Mitch Unfiltered podcast. As always, the entire show airs during the live daily puck drop. But once the live show concludes, the only way to catch KJ-Arent, join Puck's Posse there at pucksports.com or become a patron. Mitch Unfiltered. Here he is, back from Dad's weekend where he was. I've heard upside down doing keg stands with all the frat boys, reliving his youth down there in Tucson. What a weekend it was for Mitchie the Kid.
That was a pretty good soliloquy from your old radio days, man. How long did you just go? How long did you just film?
I don't know.
Was that like 8 minutes?
Yeah, that too much. And I'm just like, I need to get out. Well, you know what I'm doing? I don't know if you can do this. I cannot. I'm trying to text back and forth with someone at the same time trying to talk. I cannot do that.
I can't.
No one can do that, right?
No, do that. No.
So I'm trying to talk and then trying to say something like, oh my God, I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I'm not making sense.
I was shocked. I was shocked in the 2026 prediction show.
Oh,
how quickly all three of you guys said both Ken Walker and Rashid Shaheed would be back.
Well, I guess the good news for me is the defending champion. I'm not going to lose any points.
Not going to lose any points, but I just thought that was, from all three of you, very disappointing because had I been on the panel, I would have said gone on both.
Yeah. Well, it's easy to say now. I don't want to hear it from you. Screw you. I would have said it. You got revisionist history, guy.
I would have said gone.
Yeah. Would you have also said who's going to have the biggest choke job on the PGA Tour? I'm going to go Shane Lowry. That's what I would have picked with.
Oh my God. How about
that? That was miserable. Hey, how was it? How was Dad's weekend?
it depends.
You going back?
On how you're no. I just got a problem. I've got a hang up that either I have to get over or I've just got to excuse myself from the situation. I don't like seeing the scene.
I can imagine. I'm not there yet, but I can imagine as my daughter goes off to college soon.
Can't do it. So long story short, I drove down to Tucson from the Phoenix area on Friday. And of course, as happens with Parents Weekend, which I've now excused myself, I'll never go back to Parents Weekend. He meets me, my son meets me, and we have time together. We go have lunch. We hit some golf balls on the range. All of that is just perfect. I mean, it's perfect. And then he tells me where I need to be on Friday night. And then he tells me where I need to be on Saturday for the pregame at 11 a.m.
Oh, yes.
And I got to tell you, I didn't like any of that.
Hey, the pregame, let me guess, it's some type of like function with a sorority.
It's at his fraternity, and it's just all the sororities coming through and nobody wearing anything.
Yeah.
Really anything. It was like 92. It was like 93 degrees on Saturday in Tucson. And the whole 11 a.m., everybody drunk at 11 a.m. The father's drunk. There were moms there. It was supposed to be Dad's weekend, but moms came and
moms are pretending to be 20 again.
Kids are drunk.
Yeah.
And it's 11 a.m. I mean, it's just 11 a.m. and they're going to go until 12, 1 in the morning. I can't. I just no. I just don't.
Were you ever like this? Were you like this in college? Did you have this type of moment? You were never just a partier, never much of a drinker.
No, not much of a drinker. I'd have a drink here or a drink there. Of course, I say to my son all the time, and he just glares at me. Why can't you have a drink and then wait a few hours and have another one, and then wait a few hours and have another one? Why is it that you have to have somebody holding your feet up in the air? I don't know what they call that. They
call it keg stand.
Keg stand?
A keg stand.
A keg stand.
Did you witness a keg stand this weekend?
They all were. He did it. Girls were doing it. Guys were doing it. Fathers were doing it. Mothers were doing it at 11:30 in the. What do you mean? Yes.
Did you do it? Why don't you participate?
No, I wouldn't do that. No, I wouldn't do that. It's
have the lame dad.
So it's 11:30 in the morning. They're playing Kansas. It's Arizona, Kansas. The rematch at 2. So you've got 3 hours. And then they want to go to the bars after. I mean, it's just at one point. I'm just going to be honest with you. I probably shouldn't. I probably shouldn't share this much with you. And if my wife was listening behind the glass door, she's probably mad at me if I say this. But I'm going to tell you. I had a hotel for Friday night and Saturday night. The plan was to come back Sunday. We didn't do a Mitch Unfiltered on Monday. I was going to drive back on Sunday afternoon. Okay, I'm just going to be honest. After Friday night's festivities and knowing what I was getting into at 11 a.m. at the frat on Saturday, I actually packed up the car a day early on Saturday when I went over at 11 a.m., planning to leave a day early and not stay until Sunday and just drive home in the middle of the day on Saturday. That was my plan because I felt like I was going to see a scene that I just didn't want to be a part of, and I was just going to go home a day early. Now, as it turns out, my son says to me, why don't we didn't go to the game because it was like $500 a ticket to get in. So my son says to me, why don't we go watch the game somewhere else, just you and me? And that kind of saved my trip. We went, we didn't drink, we watched the game. Then he came back to the hotel. He wanted to come back to the hotel. We hung out. We went to dinner with a friend of his and a father, and it became tame for a few hours, which actually saved me. It saved me being there. I don't know whether I told him, look, I may be leaving a day early. I don't want to do this. I just don't want to do this. And
does he turn into like? Does he go from like David Banner to the Incredible Hulk? Does he just like?
It's not just him. I don't want to make it to be just about him, although that's the site that I don't like. It's just out of control. The whole thing, the whole scene is out of control.
You know what? I think you need to let your hair down, and just one of these weekends, you just say, you know what? I'm gonna get a little old school Mitch Levy loose here. Just get a little loose one time and just have fun.
Your problem is the old school Mitch Levy
would still not. He's still sitting in the corner with a Diet Coke.
No. I'm not sitting in the corner. I mean, I'm happy to talk to people who can actually string a sentence together at 11:30 a.m.
Are they swaying and kind of eyes rolling a little bit?
Oh, God.
Hey, hey, Mitch, what do you do? How many what do you do?
The sorority girls coming in bikinis, like string bikinis to the frat parties. Do you know that this is happening? Are you aware? I mean, you have a daughter. Are you aware that this is happening?
I have. I mean, yes.
They're wearing nothing.
I'm aware.
Literally wearing nothing, and they wear nothing and cowboy boots in Tucson.
Yes,
I don't know if you know this. Yeah. Cowboy boots and nothing.
And those tennis skirts, a lot of tennis skirts.
No, tennis skirts. That's too much. No,
that's too much. That would be overdressing. No, sir.
I don't want to get into the specifics.
Okay.
It'll just sound bad.
You survived. You're back, and that's it, right? You're done.
The car was loaded to go back on Saturday. And then because of the fact that he was willing to spend some time with me away from the fraternity, and then we had a nice dinner, I actually did stay Saturday night. Okay. I went back. I brought my stuff back into the hotel. The guy at the front desk is like, are you coming?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? And so I stayed overnight. I got up the next morning. We had brunch. He was not in a good place.
There he is, Mitch Levy. KJ-Arent. Again, our weekly show airs during its entirety during the live daily Puck Drop, but once it's over, then the place to watch it and listen to it is if you're a Puck's Posse member, sign up today at pucksports.com. No one tells a story better than that guy. All right. We've covered a lot today. And again, we'll have the Garafolo stuff up a little bit later in the show. Garafolo telling me earlier today, slim to none possibility Ken Walker comes back. So that will be up there on YouTube once the live show is over. And then also feels that Rashid Shaheed is gone. Just his educated guess that does not think he will be coming back. And we had some details on Maxx Crosby, Seahawks interest before he was traded there in David Montgomery. So if you're just joining us, be sure to go back, listen, and watch this segment there with Mike Garafolo. This is one of the best weeks, I think, in all of sports, at least in our state. It's the high school basketball state playoffs taking place down there in Tacoma. Great action, not only in Tacoma, also in Spokane and in Yakima. But I love watching basketball games at the Tacoma Dome. It's a makeshift thing with two courts, but it's so cool to see both the girls and the boys playing at the same time. So I thought we'd get our old friend Todd Milles from the Varsity Wah News podcast and varsitywahnews.com, a terrific website covering all high school sports on to preview the quarterfinals in each classification, 4A girls and boys and 3A girls and boys, as it starts and is already underway in Tacoma right now. Caught up with Todd early this morning before he jetted over to the Tacoma Dome to get the very latest on who should be playing in all the championship games, who's the favorite in each classification, and, of course, can Rainier Beach do it one more time? Todd Milles, varsitywahnews.com, and also the Varsity Wah News podcast. It's one of those special weeks in the state of Washington and down in Tacoma. It is the high school basketball state tournament down there in the T-Dome, and there is no one better to bring on to break it all down, to preview the games in the quarterfinals, recap the opening round than our guy Todd Milles, Varsity WA News. Todd, it has been a minute, but boy, it's good to see you again. And I know you'll agree with this. This is, everyone has their complaints about going down to Tacoma, watching the game, the Tacoma Dome and all that. I have just grown to love it so much. It's just one of the special weeks of the year if you're a high school basketball fan, and really just a high school sports fan.
Unless you're guaranteeing that 3 rounds at Pebble Beach is in this conversation, it's the best 15 weeks in a day I could spend during the season. It's just action-packed. You bounce back from court to court. It's loud. The bands are there. The cheerleaders are going crazy. And it's going to be a spectacle this week, as you know, with Rainier Beach and Tyrone Stokes starting this morning. A lot of star power in this particular tournament. But, yeah, you're right. I can't even remember the days, Jason, when we had back-to-back 16-team tournaments for 4 straight days. I must have been in my 20s or something to be able to have the energy to do that back-to-back.
Let's we'll get all the recap. We'll talk a lot about Rainier Beach in their run to yet another state title with Tyrone Stokes, the number 1 recruit there in the country. Let's go back to the games, the actions that were on Wednesday. Right now we're in the quarterfinal action today on Thursday. Any surprises at any of the levels? Go all the way down from 4A, boys and girls, 3A, boys and girls. But did anything surprise you yesterday there on Wednesday down at Tacoma?
Yeah, I would say the surprises were kind of in the 3A tournaments, Jason. The surprise on the boys' side is Edmonds Woodway being an 11 seed. I mean, they were in the championship game last year. I was surprised when the seeding came out that they were an unprotected seed. They had 3 losses, 2 of them to league rival Shorewood, and they lost to a really good Tualatin team on the MLK event. And they kind of proved it yesterday. They went toe to toe with Prairie. Good guards, defends well. Tyler Gevin, the former Portland State coach, is their head coach. They just know how to play in these tournaments, and I think they get a lot of confidence from Gevin and his staff. There are a lot of seniors. DJ Carl's a really good point guard, and they get to play Bellarmine Prep today without their point guard, Cade Price, who suffered a serious knee injury a few weeks back. So that's going to be a really intriguing matchups of how Edmonds Woodway's guards can create pressure on Bellarmine Prep, the 3A PSL champion, and their bigs. But that was a surprise in the seeding alone. And on the girls' side, Lakeside the Lakeside Lions girls, welcome back Sandy Schneider. I know that's a name even for us back in the 90s. I mean, she was humming with all those state championships with Lakeside. When they were in search for a new coach during the summer, something fell through, and she decided to come back for a year to coach this team. They lost their best player a couple weeks ago with Helena Christophilus. The Christophilus name, obviously big at O'Day and Seattle Prep. This is the sister, and yet looked fantastic yesterday. Sandy knows how to. She knows the Tacoma Dome as well as anybody, even though it's been a few years since she's been on the bench. But that team looked really, really good and kind of dominating the 3A GSL champ Ridgeline over there with Freddie Rico, who won a couple state championships at Central Valley. So, that was a little bit of a surprise how dominant that effort was, but shouldn't be surprised because of who's coaching them.
All right, let's get to the games today, right in the quarterfinal action. And I think a game that many people thought was going to be the state championship game. 2 of the very best teams. They were the number 1 and number 2 seeds coming into this tournament, but because O'Day ended up losing in round 2 to Lincoln, they found themselves on the side of the bracket of Rainier Beach. But coming up this morning down in Tacoma, you got Rainier Beach and O'Day meeting in the quarterfinals, Todd.
Yeah, I'd stay away from the Tacoma Dome if you're not interested in going to a basketball game from 9 till about noon down there, because it's going to be jam-packed. It's going to be crazy. The Rainier Beach Circus will be in full bloom. I always want to kind of combine O'Day and Eastside Catholic. If you really want to see somebody push Rainier Beach to the limit. I really like Brian Webster. I think he's a fantastic guard. They have enough defensive-minded guards to fluster Rainier Beach and Gene Woodard on the inside. But they don't have enough bigs to kind of keep up with Tyron Stokes. I wish we could bring Eastside Catholic's front court to O'Day's back court. And I think we'd have a heck of a game. But we can't do that, Jason. So, I mean, this is the, fifth time now that they'll play. And O'Day's actually played them tough a couple times, had a big lead in the Sea King District Championship game. I just don't know if they have enough offense. O'Day's always had a really, really good, bona fide, slam dunk score. And Brian Webster kind of fills that role, even though he's more of a multi-purpose guard. But at the end of the day, they've had trouble with Stokes, just like everybody else has had trouble with Stokes. Stokes being 6'7", and he just gets what he wants in that 12-foot circle. And O'Day really can't do much to stop him. But yeah, I think most people agree this was the state championship game. It just happens to be Thursday morning. But I like the way Eastside Catholic played yesterday, Jason. When Yabi Aklog plays that motivated at 6'10" and their front court, that's another team that I think can give Rainier Beach some fits and has during the course of the season.
Is there anybody else? Maybe, I don't know if Edmonds Woodway, Bellarmine Prep, you'd mentioned them, and you just talked about Eastside Catholic, and they're taking on Mount Spokane today in the quarterfinals. What about the bottom of that bracket? Bellevue or Lincoln? Lincoln, who did knock off O'Day. I mean, and for all accounts, that was a pretty comfortable win, right? 71-58. Could Lincoln be someone that could get in the way of Rainier Beach in their title quest?
I mean, its starting five has really gelled. Davion Sharif Delaney, sophomore guard, big and strong, slashing 6'4" guard who can shoot it. I mean, he's an emerging star in the state of Washington, but the key figure in their sort of later season resurgence is Justice Holt. Now, that name rings a bell around the state. It's Justin Holt's son. Just really struggled early in the year, wasn't healthy as a 6'6" inside guy. He's got some special skills, Jason, and he's really kind of put that on display here the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season. They've got a starting five that's really kind of gotten them off to a really good start. I just don't know when they have to go to their bench and when Rainier Beach goes to the bench. I just don't know how they can match up. I just don't know if they have enough depth to hang with the Vikings or test the Vikings. But their starting five, that would be a really fun game to watch, especially in Tacoma proper. The whole city would come out for that. The Dome's only a couple miles away from the high school. If they happen to play Saturday night, they might break attendance records for that game. I know Mick Hoffman was thinking 40,000 for the week. They usually draw about 30,000, but drew 40,000 when Michael Porter Jr. was playing for Nathan Hale. They might get to 50 if that's the state championship game on Saturday.
It would be the best case scenario for everyone if it was Lincoln and Rainier Beach. I mean, let's just be honest, because of the, when Lincoln knocked off O'Day, last week, the chance of 2-5-3 were coming out during that game. I mean, there's a lot of pride down there in that area, because when we talk basketball, it's always about Seattle basketball. And I think people that are from down there, I mean, you cover all these teams, you know what it's like. I think they just there's an offense to it, right? Hey, we play basketball down here too. So I think that would be a fantastic matchup. You guys, you wrote about this piece. I thought was fascinating. It's at varsitywanews.com. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're not a subscriber and you claim to love high school sports and you're not a subscriber to Varsity Wa News, you're doing something wrong. Please go sign up today. It doesn't cost you barely anything. Stop getting that cup of coffee every day and go subscribe to Todd and to Lauren Smith and their excellent work at varsitywanews.com. And also check out their YouTube page at Varsity Wa News there. The idea of this year's beach team against last year's beach team, who many people feel was one of, if not their best team that they ever had, just in terms of their all-around basketball play. Maybe not the individual players, but as they played together as a team. For those who have not seen this year's version of Beach, obviously the biggest talk has been Tyron Stokes. Comes into right before the season started, he transfers in out of California. He's the number one recruit, not in the state. He's the number one recruit in the country. You've covered a lot of teams and a lot of players. And what do you make of this year's team and Tyron Stokes?
I mean, I think it's a really good Rainier Beach team. Am I ready to put it at the top of the list? No. Am I ready to put Tyron Stokes at the top of the list to come out of Seattle? No. If I had a list of 10, would he make it? Probably. I mean, he's just got physical strength and skill, a really underrated acumen, a good rebounder, a good shot blocker. Like I said, anything in the 12-foot circle, it's game over. But I mean, you look at some of the other things he does. He doesn't play great on defense. He's good. He likes to gamble, like a lot of 6'7" guys with hops. And I think he's a good shooter. I don't think he's a great outside shooter. Would I take Paulo Banchero over him? Yeah. Would I take Jamal Crawford over him, or Brandon Roy, or Nate Robinson? And maybe because they're Seattle born, I have a sort of a favoritism toward those guys. But
it's like evaluating where would you put Michael Porter.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Michael Porter was more skilled. This guy's just a lot more physical. I mean, he would just beat Michael Porter up. Neither one of those guys played much defense, but offensively, holy crap! It is fun to watch those two guys play. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, and you're right. You kind of referenced the story we did. It was kind of fascinating. Last year, they won a state championship with 3 really good guards. Led by Jalen Petty and Caden Powers, and they're both playing Division I basketball against this team, and its length and its front court presence. And I was surprised that 3 very respected basketball minds all picked last year's team, and it largely had to do with the connectivity. That team played unselfish. They played together. They didn't really care who got the points. I'm a big Caden Powers fan. I'm a sucker for good mid-range game, and he's about as good as it's been.
They just played hard, and you're so right. They played hard, and they shared the ball. They were just the absolute definition of what a team was like.
Yeah, they were almost, I mean, honestly, Jason, they were almost kind of like the anti-Rainier Beach team. I mean, they played together and didn't care who got the glory. I mean, Dre Morris, if he would have stuck around, he'd have been one of the top juniors in the state with Jalen Davis over at Bremerton. But he has transferred since out of state. But those 3 guards would have been a handful for this group to try and wrangle. Now, if J.J. Crawford were a junior and a senior and had a few more games and a few more years under his belt, I might have thought differently. But I think people saw kind of their youth and what that squad had last year and its connectivity, and just said, yeah, this team this year might have a little more physical talent, but last year's team with its IQ and nuance and connectivity, I think would have came out of this matchup, this magical matchup on top.
Quickly, just to wrap up 3A, this is clearly Rainier Beach's to lose.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody plays them to within 10 points this week, I think that would be labeled a suspenseful game, Jason. But yeah, it's theirs to lose, and we're going to find out exactly what the circus looks like Thursday morning and beyond, because I just think it's going to be crazy. And like you said, Rainier Beach Lincoln would be best case scenario Saturday night.
Let's jump over quickly to the 4A. We've got Puyallup and Gonzaga Prep starting off in the quarterfinals. Emerald Ridge, the number 1 seed, Mount Si, always talented basketball team coming out of Snoqualmie. Glacier Peak and Lake Washington, West Valley, and then the Richland Bombers. What do you think shakes out today, and who ultimately do you think plays in the championship game and then cuts down the nets?
I mean, I think it's going to be Mount Si and Richland. I think that would be the rematch of the state championship game 2 years ago. Mount Si's depth and height and physicality against Richland's offensive. They're an offensive juggernaut. I mean, if they don't score 90 points a game, I think people are surprised. But I got to tell you, man, there's a game today. My favorite team, I think, in the state, just because of the different kind of pieces they feature, is this West Valley Yakima squad. I really kind of liked them last year when they came in and they got to the state semifinals and
great uniforms, by the way.
Really good uniforms. Great. Really good characters too. I mean, you have the Burley kid is a sophomore. He's a killer. But when you look at Parker Mills, this big body, he's going to Washington State University as a football player. And you watch him on the basketball court. I just think people kind of laugh at him because they're like, who's this guy? And then you watch him, how strong he is and how his footwork is phenomenal for a guy that big. But they just they kind of have some junkyard pieces, and they play kind of a junkyard style. They just kind of let it rip, let it fly. And they beat Auburn last night, and now they get Richland. They beat Richland last year in the state tournament, and it's just a team. If you wanted to go to the Dome and didn't know about any of the teams that were in the field, and you just watched them, I think people would fall in love with this West Valley Yakima team. And I think that matchup tonight's going to be fantastic. And Richland's going to have a little, revenge on its mind. But in terms of the field, Mount Si and Richland are playing so well that if somebody else gets in their way, I think it would be an upset.
Let's jump over the 4A girls. Kennedy Catholic, Gonzaga Prep, Lake Stevens Davis, Lake Washington Woodinville, Sumner then takes on Union. End of the day, we're going to who's in the championship game and who wins.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Davis, the defending state champ, against whoever survives the lower bracket. I mean, it's just a brutal lower bracket. If the winner of that semifinal has any legs for the championship game, I would be very, very impressed. I think Union probably comes out of it because it has the best player or the best scoring guard in the tournament in Brooklyn Haywood. She's going to the University of Oregon. She's 100 points away from breaking Haley Van Lit's all-time scoring mark. I know that's the thing that's, it could be good or bad. I mean, if she could get on a heater for 3 days, I mean, it could be very, very interesting. Or if that's the most important thing, it might work against the Titans. But they play Sumner today. Sumner was in the state championship game last year, equally talented. The two Kinko teams play each other again for a fourth time. I mean, like I said, whoever comes out of that lower bracket to play probably Davis of Yakima will have come through almost a mini war for the first 3 days of the tournament.
And then lastly, the 3A girls, the Bellevue Wolverines have kind of consistently been the number one team all year long. They'll be in the second game to Evergreen and taking on Evergreen. It will start off Lakeside, Roosevelt, White River taking on Eastside Catholic, Stanwood, Snohomish. Before I get who you think is going to be in the championship game and the winner of it, I'm going to tell you this. I watched a lot of high school basketball games this year. There was no better game that I watched this year than the Metro Girls Championship game between Roosevelt and Eastside Catholic. It was they were so skilled and talented and efficient and played hard, and it was aggressive. It was just a phenomenal basketball game between those two squads. So let's get to it. That was just my commentary, and then I'm moving on. Championship game of 3A, and who comes out on top?
Well, unfortunately, Roosevelt, for whatever reason, was dubbed a number 4 seed. I thought they were the second best team in the state. A lot of that had to do with the Metro League loss to Eastside Catholic that you mentioned. Those two teams should play in the semifinals Friday night. I watched them in the Sea King District semifinals. I actually came out of that game very heartened that Roosevelt could hang with Bellevue. They're going to have to clean up some of their backcourt ball handling issues from that game. I think it's going to be a Sea King District party here. And Bellevue is so talented, so well-rounded. They can beat you in transition. They can beat you in the half court. They have depth. They have one of the most energetic coaches in the state in Witherspoon. It would take a pretty close to perfect effort for Roosevelt or Eastside Catholic to pull off the upset. But I think both of those two teams you mentioned are certainly the most capable of doing that. Both have their own level of talent. What I like about Eastside Catholic is they're kind of the counterpoint to Bellevue with Amy Baduko. They can beat you inside.
She's good.
And their guards are starting to play really well. Eastside Catholic's playing its best ball right now. And I think we'll come out of that lower bracket to probably play the winner of the Roosevelt-Bellevue game.
Okay. All right, folks, I'm telling you, there is no better spot than what this guy has put together. And I know it's not just him. He's got an army of people behind him. But varsitywanews.com, it's the best money I spend on anything. And you will too. If you love high school sports, this is the spot. He's got tons of stories up there himself and Lauren. But he also has people that are also covering the tournaments over in Spokane and Yakima. I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up. I know the because he has coverage on the story of 2B as well, with the Colfax boys and girls, obviously with Reese Jenkins losing his life last week, his long battle with pancreatic cancer, and then what his son and daughter did that night on the court of both just having incredible games. Colfax girls were bounced out. It was a nice gesture by the opposing team, and I'm blanking on them, who delivered Allie, the daughter, flowers after the game. The Colfax boys are one of the best teams in the state. I think you would just say one of the best teams in the state, regardless of classifications. But that was something that really hit that Colfax community really hard. And just the Spokane, like, travel and high school basketball scene, which is so strong. And it was just heartbreaking and sad, but yet at the same time beautiful to watch everyone kind of come together and rally behind this community and this family.
Yeah, I mean, Reese Jenkins was one of the absolute good guys in coaching in the state of Washington. I mean, he was in his mid-40s, Jason. I talked to him the day he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and he was a big voice in what I do with my rankings at the 2B level. And he was very upbeat, didn't know much about what he was getting into. And by the end of it, he had quit his treatment. I think he kind of realized what was ahead. He just wanted to be clear for his kids. The last few weeks, it sucks that he didn't get to. He was so close to seeing his two children play in the state championships at the Spokane Arena. But I know those two kids and that whole community will carry that on this week. Like you said, it's going to be both heavy emotional and celebratory, I think, this week, as the Colfax boys, the heavy favorites in 2B, they would be favorites in pretty much all the small school classifications if they played in them, as they march on to win that second 2B title in 3 years. Adric Jenkins, a fantastic player, who can really shoot the basketball, and now the inspiration. 2B Field probably, is going, hey, listen, we were kind of behind the 8 ball, a few weeks ago, and now this is in play too. I think anybody would feel good for the Colfax boys if they finish off the perfect season and get to honor their fallen coach. Yeah.
And if they were to make it there to be March 7th, that, it's something that I'm thinking about. It would be a pretty emotional, pretty cool to go watch. Be over there in Spokane, 3:00 there on March 7th would be the championship game. They're taking on Freeman in the quarterfinals today. All right, great stuff. Again, get yourself a subscription. Varsity One News. He's the best. He loves it. So much passion that he puts into this every single day. Thank you, Todd. Enjoy it. All the action today over the Tacoma Dome.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Again, big thanks to Todd Milles. VarsityWaNews.com is the website. Varsity Wa News is the podcast. You want the very latest, great writing. He and Lauren Smith, they've got people that are over in Spokane and Yakima at the, the 2A and 2B and 1A and 1B tournaments. It's so worth it. It's just so absolutely worth it, what he does over there. Also, the Final Score .tv, great spot, highlights and videos. They've got updates top and bottom of the hour. Our good friend Randy Novak bringing the Final Score .tv back. It's great. Going to go down there tomorrow and catch up with Randy and the crew. And he's just again another guy that just loves high school sports. And so you want player interviews and game highlights, the Final Score .tv, a great spot. And then reading all the work there from what's happening down in Tacoma, VarsityWaNews.com. All right, before we get on out of here, we got On This Day. And, of course, On This Day is brought to you by Hive Social, the official social meetup app of Puck Sports. You can be part of the Puck's Posse group now on Hive Social. When you sign up, just search the Puck's Posse group, and you will find it. Easiest way to learn about upcoming events and things that maybe we got going on. You can find connections or groups. Just search for Puck's Posse. Download it from the iOS and Google Play Store, and just search Hive Social, HYV Social, there on all of those platforms. All right, On this day, March 5th, ladies and gentlemen, 1982. The one and only Gaylord Perry signs with your Seattle Mariners. He would go on later that year to win his 300th game. How did it look and how did it sound? Well, we got you covered. Here he is, the one and only Dave Niehaus.
The 6th, 1982. Gaylord Perry, 1 out away from 300. The 2-1 pitch to Randolph. Swung on, ground ball to Cruz. This should do it. He's got it. It's over. Gaylord has 300. Everybody mobbing Gaylord Perry as he goes all the way. His teammates come out, Bud Bowling, and Gaylord Perry becomes the 15th man in baseball history to win 300 games as the Mariners beat the Yankees 7-3. My, oh my.
There's no one better than Niehaus. No one better. Gaylord Perry winning his 300th game. He become the first pitcher again since Early Wynn in 1963 to win 300. He would finish his career 311 wins and a career ERA of 3.11. Happy birthday going out on this day, March 5th, to the playmaker, Michael Irvin. Just all coked up Michael Irvin. He's 60 today. It's amazing. He's still going at 60 years old. Played his entire career at the Dallas Cowboys, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL history. 3-time Super Bowl champion, first team All-Pro, 1991, inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2007. On this day, all that happening on this day, March 5th, again, brought to you by Hive Social. That's HYV Social. Download the Puck Sports official social media app from iOS and Google Play. Hey, What the Puck is brought to you by Tersuli Construction. From emergency response to full-scale rebuilds and remodels, Tersuli Construction, full-service contractor handling your project from start to finish. Locally owned and operated out of Ballard, proudly serving the Puget Sound region for over 15 years. If you're dealing with damage or planning what's next, call the team that does it all. Tersuli Construction, restoring what matters, building what's next. Give them a call at 206-793-3744 and visit tersuli.com. Lou Holtz was college football gold. Couldn't wait for me until every Saturday night to watch college football final on ESPN. That was the glory days of the sport. He was a remarkable coach that spanned 6 schools in college football. He had a career record of 249, 132, and 7. Started at William & Mary, moved on to NC State, Arkansas, Minnesota, then got his dream job at Notre Dame, and then finished his career at South Carolina. He was equally brilliant on TV, just like he was on the sideline coaching football. He blended humor and football knowledge and didn't take himself too seriously and allowed himself to have fun and be made fun of. I couldn't wait again for Saturday night to watch he and Reese Davis and Mark May. The chemistry between those three was unmatched at the time, and it made just a perfect ending to a Saturday night of recapping all the action in when college football was at its finest. He made it fun. His teams played hard. He was the pillar of college football. Rest in peace to one of the best, Lou Holtz. That's Hey, What the Puck, brought to you by Tersuli Construction. Give them a call, 206-793-3744. Visit them at tersuli.com. Thank you for watching and listening to today's show. Thank you to all our sponsors, Limbeck Lumber, John Howie Steak, Zogs on Fox Island, Hartley and Hartley Insurance, Georgetown Brewery, Tersuli Construction, Hive Social. You can find today's Daily Puck Drop on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel. Also find the Daily Puck Drop on your favorite podcast platforms and at pucksports.com. When you're there, sign up to become a member of the Pucks Posse, please. Just $5 a month. You support all the free content we do. In addition, we give you bonus shows. Sports Spit every Tuesday with Matt Stretch Johnson. Wednesday's show with Ryan Divish, Inside Pitch. And Thursdays, KJ-Arent with one Mitch Levy. And on Mondays, be sure to check out the Garage with Gas Take 5 podcast, now produced by Puck Sports. Again, new episodes every Monday on YouTube and all podcast platforms. Appreciate the support as always. The week has quickly moved on. The Friday show coming up tomorrow. The go-to guy is back. Chris Egan is back. Be sure to check out Mike Garafolo from today. So much news on Ken Walker, Rashid Shaheed, Maxx Crosby. A ton of great content in there from Garafolo today. We'll see you tomorrow. As always, we promise to be better.
No shoes, no dice.
Anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love. I was born
to lick your face. I was born to rub you, but you were born to rub me first. What do you need my address for? We like to send out a mailer. Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!